destroy the Mushroom Kingdom!
Bowser is coming.
I'm not afraid. I'll do anything for my brother.
We're going to save him.
Yes! Fire!
You asked for it. This is fun!
Here we go!
Attack! Let's end this.
The Super Mario Brothers movie. Something that I thought would never happen, or something I would ever be saying here in the year of 2023, considering that we used to have a Mario Brothers movie that was casted off way back in 1993 that no one likes to really mention because it wasn't faithful to the original Mario series to begin with. We had other adaptations like the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and stuff like that though, but for the longest time, Nintendo has been very reluctant to release any of their first-party IPs and adapt them in any kind of form or way, whether it be an anime, an animation, a movie, etc. though. But lo and behold, you know, Nintendo finally pulled the plug and said, you know what, Shigeru Miyamoto, you can finally have a crack at it. He went and released the Mario Park world over there in Universal, and also had the right to work with Illumination to make the Super Mario Brothers movie. And I recently saw it last week, and oh shoot, that movie was actually freaking phenomenal. I went in there thinking it was gonna be okay at best, but with all the ooze and charm and stuff up in there, the references and the characterization and stuff like that, the way how they portray Mario up on the big screen, as well as all of the performances from all of the different voice actors, it made a very pleasant experience that I just want to go ahead and jump up in it and give all my thoughts out here in this non-spoilery review for the Super Mario Brothers movie though. But if you haven't already done so, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell. That way you can stay up to date on all things Mario related I feel like talking about this week and any other things gaming. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this review. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about, and there's a lot of things to go over and discuss, but the one thing I want to talk about first is the voice actors, which that was the one thing we got revealed way back in the Nintendo Direct when they first revealed the first little bits of information with the Mario movie, and we figured out who the characters that were going to be voicing our beloved characters in the Mario universe. And right off the bat, Chris Pratt being Mario, that was the one that I think a lot of people were kind of mixed on whether or not he was actually going to do good. We saw that first trailer back in the day and people were kind of feeling really mixed on it though, but after seeing the movie I actually kind of grown attached to the voice. It took a little bit getting used to, but it wasn't nothing as jarring as what we saw in the previews. I felt like the previews of what we saw in some of those trailers were like you know, quite a drastic difference between that and what we actually got in the theatrical show of this movie though. So I was like, I take my hat off to Chris Pratt. You know, the voice actually sounded better than what I thought. We also had Anya Taylor being Princess Peach, Charles Martinet, he managed to make some cameos with a couple of characters up in that movie. Jack Black being Bowser, I feel like he was definitely one of the stars of the show. I kind of already knew about that going up into this movie though, but he did a phenomenal job playing Bowser, and I thought the voice was just, you know, deep and enriching. I felt like he, we got Bowser's character in a lot of different games and stuff throughout the series though, but I felt like Jack Black portrayed it perfectly well of how we will probably see it there on the big screen like that. Then you had Charlie Day as Luigi. I thought he did a really nice job just acting, you know, cowardly in a sense, and then also having those, you know, those strong brother moments with Mario. Really nice stuff. Keegan Michael Key as Toad, that was really nice. And then Seth Rogen being Donkey Kong, those are like the main ones I wanted to highlight right there. Yes, Seth Rogen got that little laugh up in the movie, so you kind of can, you know, expect that though. But I thought across the board, you know, at first I was kind of laughing pretty hard. I was like, man, what are some of these voice actors doing on this movie portrayal though? But all of them did a phenomenal job, and I take my hat off to every single one of them. Now, in terms of the plot points, without giving away anything here in the movie though, it felt like my only one little nitpick within this movie is how it kind of felt like, movies meant to be like a string of different scenes going from one scene to the next to the next. And usually, your big movies, whether it be like a Marvel or Star Wars or anything else that's coming out there, Transformers, whatever, though, those scenes aren't usually as abrupt, and they kind of flow from one scene to the next. But I felt like with the Mario movie, that's my only little, mark off of this movie, was the fact that it really felt like it was moving from one scene to another to another. I think it kind of, in the way of them doing this, it was both, good and bad at the same time. Good in the sense that if you didn't like what kind of happened in the previous scene, you have a whole nother scene to work with, so you can kind of move on and, brush that to the side, though. But then bad in the sense of how it kind of jarring how some of the scenes kind of took place. But, ultimately a movie's going to be a movie. You're going to have those scene transitions, though. It just seemed a little more clear and evident how you're moving from one scene and breaking away straight over into the next. That's one little nitpick I wanted to say on this movie, though. But overall, in terms of the characters, I really love the way how they portray Mario up in this thing. Because for the longest time, with most Mario games that we have gotten, whether it be a 2D one, a 3D one, or one of the side series one, where it's like Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi or whatnot, though, most of the time we didn't really get to see Mario's character, especially for the 2D and 3D ones. Yes, we knew Mario was the dude that kind of, jumps in to save the day, jumps out of a pipe to save Princess Peach, time and time after again. Sometimes the script will get flipped. Maybe he needs to get saved thanks to Luigi and the Luigi Mansion series or whatnot, though, or, and there's some other scenarios out there in most of those Mario games, though. But Mario as a character, we just knew him to be the superhero of the day, and there wasn't a lot of character, at least with him, or we didn't get to see a lot of adversity in most of the games, though. But I feel like with this movie, that was the one thing they kind of struck really well. Like, we got to see Mario start off as a plumber before he even made his interaction within the Mushroom Kingdom. We managed to see him, go to his day-to-day life. He's just a human like anybody else, right? Or any of us other humans over here in this world, though. But, he had his fair deal of issues working with his brother and whatnot, though, over there in the Bronx. And lo and behold, he managed to make his way over to the Mushroom Kingdom. And yes, it is kind of, like a traditional-ish kind of movie in terms of going like from zero to hero, but it wasn't like a pure zero to a pure hero. I mean, he naturally had some things going for him and whatnot, though, but it wasn't in the sense that he was like overall empowering by the end of the movie, but he did just well enough to be able to resolve all the conflicts and stuff, being able to save his brother at the very end of the movie, and be able to fight off Bowser and stuff like that, though. So that's the one thing I really did like, just diving deeper into Mario's characterization. And then, speaking of other characters, you got Princess Peach over there. Normally at first I was thinking she was going to be the one that was going to be like the damsel in distress, but it turns out to be it was Mario's brother that was the one. And I like how Princess Peach was going to be the one to actually kind of show Mario all the different ropes. And it kind of made sense in the sense that, she grew up there and she is a princess at the end of the day. So it's like, it would have been kind of a little jarring for her to be the one that had to be saved and she got captured by Bowser, and, have that play out versus, she's been there, done that in this kingdom, had all of the Toad's favor for them to be able to elect her as their official princess and whatnot. It only seemed fitting for her to actually show Mario the ropes, because it would have been really jarring had it been for Mario stepping into the Mushroom Kingdom, moving from, the Bronx over into the Mushroom Kingdom, and is able to use all of these power-ups, be able to fly around all over the place and be able to beat Bowser with, very little conflict or whatnot, though. So that's the thing I really did like in this movie, though. I thought Luigi was also a very solid brother. He had his moments with Mario in the movie, though. I thought he had some solid interactions and stuff like that, though. I'll just leave it at that and let y'all see the rest of how, Luigi's character is portrayed, though. But I think Donkey Kong, the interactions that Mario had with Donkey Kong, I thought that was freaking phenomenal right there, because we always knew that, back in the early days of, Mario versus Donkey Kong, whatnot, though, there were rivals in the sense, back in the arcade games and stuff like that, though. So it kind of made sense for them not to kind of see eye to eye here in this movie, and they had those little moments where they kind of went back and forth bickering and whatnot, though. So the way how they kind of portrayed that, and in the sense throughout the movie, whenever they first met all the way until like the very end of the movie, I thought that that was a really nice touch right there. Then obviously, and I think that's pretty much it in terms of what I want to talk about with characters. Now, in the sense of everything else that happened with some of the references and stuff like that, the world, some of the enemies they kind of show, I won't say what all of those things are, but for what they kind of show, I feel like they showed a pretty good spread of everything that we kind of seen within the Mario history. You got everything from the NES all the way up, or NES Mario, Super Mario Brothers, all the way up to making references all the way up to Mario Odyssey and everything else in between. There's so many different Easter eggs up in there. So many ones where I was like, aha, and some things that weren't even necessarily Mario related. I'll leave it at that though. But I was like, when I saw those things, I was, it just put a really big smile upon my face. I thought, they struck every good chord within Mario. I felt like a lot of us being, oldies and, grew up with Mario, we can make a lot of good references with that, but then also made plenty of different references and ties to stuff that happened recently in most of the Mario ones. And then obviously Mario Kart is the biggest one. We saw that all in the different trailers and stuff like that, though. But you couldn't help to see these characters interact with one another, whether it be Mario and Donkey Kong or Mario and Peach and maybe a little bit of Bud and Romance and stuff like that. And then Bowser and all of his interactions, like, yes, this dude actually seemed like an actual threat. You saw how in that trailer he managed to get that power star and whatnot though. And it's not like Bowser's just purely evil. He is lovable at the end of the day. Like there's like a little scene with Bowser and you might have saw him with a piano. Of course he's gonna sing a song. That song is actually freaking incredible though. I thought it was something that I wasn't gonna necessarily kind of gravitate to at first, but after listening to, they actually dropped the official soundtrack for the Mario movie over there on Spotify. After listening to it a few more times, I actually kind of grew on that a little bit more though. But yeah, they made Bowser seem pretty threatening, but at the same time lovable at the end of the day though. But yes, he had his interactions with Mario and whatnot though. I felt like he had a little bit more interactions, maybe a tiny bit more with Luigi or whatnot though. But I'm hoping that if there is room for a sequel in the future, we'll see a little bit more interactions between Mario and Bowser. I feel like that was the other little small nitpick that I would kind of mention right there though. And I think outside of that, I felt like I kind of talked about most of my thoughts that I really liked and enjoyed, along with a few different nitpicks within this movie though. But overall, if I were to give it a score, I would probably give it a 9 out of 10. It was a pretty solid movie. I think it's still one of my favorite video game adaptations, whether it be a TV series, a movie, etc., that we managed to get trumping over like some of the, the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, like the first and second one, or the Detective Pikachu and everything else in between that we recently got. But I thought they struck enough good chords with its references, its ties, its characterization, giving Mario an actual story, which we hadn't really seen in a lot of different Mario games. Hopefully this kind of gives some inspiration to what Mario can basically do in terms of his storytelling, in terms of what we might be able to get in some future 2D or 3D Marios or anything else with some of the side series and whatnot though. I just love his characterization in this movie though. Overall, it was a great experience. Yes, there was a whole bunch of kids up in there, but not as many as what I personally thought though. But at the very end, they gave their hoopla claps and hoorays and stuff like that when the movie ended though. For those that are interested in watching it, if you hadn't watched it, yes, there are 2 previews that you're able to see. One's like a mid credits and one's an end credit. So make sure to stay in your seats in the theater to the very end and make sure to witness both of those though. They give a little teases, maybe left a little bit of room for what could actually come in the future, maybe because I'm already seeing that the Mario movies are already breaking a lot of different records and maybe even breaking the record for like the highest grossing all-time animated film that for an opening weekend, should I say. And I was like, man, when you see numbers like that, man, who knows, we might actually manage to get some more Mario movies in the future, or this could technically leave room open for us to get other Nintendo properties, maybe your Legend of Zeldas, maybe an actual Donkey Kong. Fingers crossed, maybe get some adaptations for some Fire Emblem or Kid Icarus or something like that. Be able to be represented in some kind of video game adaptation, whether it be movie, anime style, or whatever, or anything else in between though. But yeah, honestly, that's pretty much all I have to say in terms of the Mario movie right here. I thought it was a great, phenomenal film. The only little nicks, or should I say tiebacks on this film, is literally how abrupt its scene changes are. But if I were to take that out of the picture, I felt like it was pretty close to a masterpiece, but not exactly quite close. Hence the 9 out of 10 though. But that's basically all I have to say in terms of this official review for the Super Mario Brothers movie by me. So if you really like this video, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing, and anything else Mario that I feel like dropping over here on the channel for this Mario week though. So remember y'all, until whatever video I make next, see y'all.